Yes, ready. Mr. Deputy Chairman, when the finance bill comes up for consideration in this House, it is about 2 months after the presentation of the budget, and by the time the government's proposals are fully analyzed and a number of speakers have spoken about them outside stop in the other house and in this house, and therefore it is a difficult task for any speaker here to participate at this juncture in this debate and to offer something original. Stop, and the Honorable Finance Minister has had to sit through endless hours of repetitions. Stop. I shall endeavor to say what has not been so far said. Stop para. I am not an economist. I am certainly a student of current political history, of which economic development is an essential part, and if whatever therefore I say, it is not meant in any case as a personal criticism. Stop. It is certainly critical of the government's approach. I would like to say that we are approaching today's debate in the background of four significant factors as represented by Honorable Finance Minister's budget. Stop. There is a 25% hike in the plan outlay. There is an apparent deficit of around rupees 1,700 crores. There is a total government expenditure of roughly rupees 40,000 to rupees 42,000 crores, and on the top of it, the finance minister has come up with what is called a soft budget. Stop para. There are the four significant markets within which this finance bill giving effect to the budget proposals has to be discussed. Stop. All indicators to my reckoning and in my view are that we are moving towards a financial crisis. Stop. Sir, this is not rhetoric. I am not motivated by any kind of irresponsible desire mainly to criticize the government, and therefore this is not a wild overstatement. I am certainly motivated by a desire to caution the government and to use this opportunity of participating in this debate to warn this government of the crisis that is facing this country. Stop. What are the dimensions of this crisis? Sign of interrogation. The first point of these dimensions of crisis is what we have seen developing over the last 3 or 4 years, which I call the extension of options. What are the points that make me point out that there is an extension of options? Sign of interrogation. Firstly, we used to come across an entry in the budget which was called the revenue surplus account, and that revenue surplus account has gone. It is at a deficit and would stand at around rupees 2,600 crores today. But the revenue surplus has gone, and this is a very important factor. Stop. The extension of the revenue surplus account is reflective to us of the extension of the revenue monies stop. The government is drawing from the capital account and therefore the revenue surplus account has not only gone but it has converted into a deficit. Stop. I have to make stop para. Now the second point is that during the last 3 or 4 years we have seen two shifts. One is what I would call a shift from forced transfer of money to voluntary transfers of money, and secondly what I would call playing with administered prices. Stop. Now let me just illustrate what a forced transfer is. Forced transfers are the payment of direct taxes, the indirect taxes, etc., about which the citizens of this country have no option. Stop. So this is a forced transfer. Stop. The government has now moved from one kind of a shift to another, that is from the forced transfers to voluntary transfers. Stop. Now what are voluntary transfers? Voluntary transfers are encouraging small savings, and it is a voluntary transfer, and it is encouraging deposit scheme like the National Deposit Scheme, which on its own is a laudable enough scheme. Stop. But it is a voluntary transfer. Stop. Then sir, I have a point to make here. Stop. These supposedly voluntary transfers are no longer so voluntary in an area of limited options in the no option society that we are today. The fact remains that even the voluntary transfers, even things like the Provident Fund, even things like the small savings, even things like the National Deposit Scheme are actually not voluntary transfers, but they are forced transfers. Stop. Now sir, what is the result of this when we move from forced transfer to voluntary transfer as measures of policy? What the government is necessarily doing to increase its liability for interest payments? Stop.